Yeah.
Yes, okay, we'll do for this.
Put up my birthday one this year.
Oh, yeah. I didn't, have you always had all those and put them out, all of them? I've never noticed. But now that seems to be one of my routes with my pups. And,
I'm not that found it. A garage or covered
uh-huh.
and it reacts to the black light.
Oh my gosh. How fun. Somebody yesterday at Walmart bought a gnome blow mold, a Christmas gnome. He was cute.
I know how.
See, I didn't know if you got new ones or if you like the original stuff. Oh, I guess we should maybe start. It's like, it's 5:35, my call meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm gonna get a comment. Nothing under proclamation, so moving on to the consent agenda. Is there anything you'd like to comment on, Brad?
There is not the only thing that's been added. Recently was the BG Consultants invoice in the amount of 13,475, and that's for the engineering for the housing project out by Burning.
I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? If not, Dawn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote.
Motion passed 5-0. Nothing in the public comments, petitions, and some on to new business. The number one, planning commission reappointments. Brad?
Yeah, so we had discovered that the Board of Zoning Appeals had the appointments that we had for the Board of Zoning Appeals had expired, which effectively left us without a Board of Zoning Appeals. And so upon further investigation, we also found out that really how our city code is set up, that it should be a combined, the planning commission also serves as a Board of Zoning Appeals. That's all we needed to do. We needed to have a 7-member board. And so Don had reached out to 7 members that have previously served. And so of these 7 members, we needed 2 out-of-town members and 5 in-town members in order to make this board work. And that is what we have here. And so really what we need to do is to appoint Tad Rankin, Jody Twombly, Denise Walney, H. Dean Bailey, Darren Armit, Jill Sprick, and Hillary Boyd to the Planning Commission that also serves as a Board of Zoning Appeals.
Will they have, as far as the term for each of those, are they staggered somehow?
They are, and so those terms do need to be staggered. We had discussed this with our city attorney Andy Delaney earlier, and the term part of this is the next part that we'll have to figure out. But our first step is just getting them appointed to this board.
You asked my question. Thank you. Well, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Tad Rankin, Jody Twombly, Denise Wolney, Dean Bailey, Darren Armit, Jill Sprick, and Hillary Boyd to the Planning Commission / Board of Zoning Appeals.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint the members as presented. Any further discussion? If not, Don?
All in favor?
All right.
Vote.
Motion passed 5-0. Item 2, 2026 employee wages. Brad?
So during the 2026 budget process, contained within the numbers for employee wages for the years. And so those numbers do include a 3% increase. So every year we have to go through and actually approve that. The commission needs to approve that resolution in order to make that 3% wage increase official for the 2026. And also at the same time, we also approve a resolution for the pay scale. And what the pay scale does is it moves 3% in the full-time positions, and part-time positions don't move. Appointed positions also don't move, like mayors and commissioners. We don't do 3% on that. It's only for full-time employees. And so on the pay scale that you've seen with resolution 2025-13, it's the 3% is only for those full-time employees. And so that's why there's two separate resolutions. 2025-12 is for the 3% increase. 2025-13 is to set the pay scale. And so I would ask that we approve resolution 2025-12, authorizing a 3% pay increase to full-time employees to go into effect January 1st, 2026. And in a separate action, adopt resolution 2025-13, setting the pay scale for employees.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2025-12, authorizing a 3% pay increase to full-time employees to go into effect January 1st, 2022.
Second.
Been moved and second to approve resolution 2025-12. Any further discussion? If not, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. I would entertain another motion.
I would like to make a motion. To entertain the 2025 pay scale, January 1st. Resolution 2025-13.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and second to adopt resolution 2025-13. Any further discussion? If not, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to number 3, updated capital improvement plan.
So during the 2026 budget process, we spent a great deal of time talking about the capital improvement plan. Some of the projects that would be contained within the capital improvement plan. And what I would like to go over tonight is actually approving the capital improvement plan. This would be 2025 through 2029. So starting this year, and really, if you would, in the packet, this also contains the 2024 through 2028 capital improvement plan, which is the last time that we approved one. Everything that's highlighted in yellow is what we had actually accomplished out of that plan. And one thing that I would like to point out is we've had a lot of things in this plan that are going to be very hard for us to achieve off of a budget year. I know that I talked about that quite a bit during the 2026 budget process. And so really what I wanted to do with the 2025 through 2029 capital improvement plan is make sure that these are goals that we can achieve in the budget process without having wild swings in the budgets that would cause issues with our budget. And so it's really kind of, well, what I've done is make sure that our revenues coming in are steady. And so that we're able to, like say on the police side of things, if we're going to budget to replace cars, that we're putting money back every year instead of just trying to budget all for it at once. Same thing with the administrative software. On the revenue side, you'll see on the administration that we have $26,000 a year. This actually goes out further than what this plan actually goes to. This is a 5-year plan, but that's on the revenue side. But yet down on the expenditure side, right now we have it slated for $125,000. And this is to make sure that we're refunding what we're spending out of that capital improvement plan. You have on your top, you have your expected fund balance at the beginning of 2025. At the bottom, it'll be at the end of 2025. And once again, as 2026, 27, 28, and 29 go on, you'll have your beginning fund balance and your ending fund balance. And you'll notice that some years you have more in your ending fund balance than you do in your beginning, and some years it's the opposite. And that's just because of the way that we're funding this. And really, and what that's for is to bring stability to to the budget, so that we're not having any swings up and down as far as as far as the budget actually goes. It makes it easier to budget for in the future. You'll notice that housing engineering is a part of this. However, now I did not put that refunding in here from administration, because we're going to be refunding that from the economic development sales tax. So that's why you don't see a corresponding revenue there. And so that will be, that actually will be refunded, but not from the revenues from like the general fund, for example. And so what I have in here, a lot of things of what I've talked about, patrol car replacement. I know that down in the public works department, I have, truck replacement. We're putting away money every year to replace our fleet vehicles. We're also putting away money every year to replace our equipment. And so, and that's out of all three of our public works departments. There are some very high ticket items in here. We did budget, it is in the budget next year to get a new skid steer, for example. But one thing that I'd like to point out about the capital improvement plan is every project that's on this, whether it's contained within the plan or not, is up for review by the city commission at the time it comes to, those projects still have to be approved by the city commission. Just because it's contained in the plan doesn't mean that we're just blanket approving all these projects to go forward. We still have to talk about these projects individually, and that's because things can come up, plans can change. And so, while I've tried to make this something that's attainable, something that we can very well stick to, I also do recognize that, things do come up. Our plans could change. We might have to use $50,000 somewhere else, for example. And so I'm here to field any questions about this. This doesn't require a resolution. This can just be adopted by a majority vote of the commission. And so I would ask that the 2025 through 2029 capital improvement plan be approved by the commission. But I'm here to answer any questions and open it up to the commission at this point.
And just to hear it again, this is not just carte blanche that you get to do all of it. Each project as it comes up, we'll discuss it again, and
That's correct.
just to be sure about that. So
And so every project that we have on here will need individual discussion before we move forward.
So if we approve this 25 through 29 CIP, then the old one goes away, so to speak?
The old one does go away, so to speak, yes.
and then some of the stuff that was listed in, for instance, 2023 that didn't get completed, what happens with that? I mean, for example, Star Park renovation says we're gonna do 50,000, but yet it's not highlighted.
So some of those things that we highlighted there, some of that money was reallocated at times in the past couple of years to other projects. I know that did happen quite a bit, especially in the Parks Department. That did happen quite a bit in the Street Department as well. We reallocated money to where we thought money would be better spent. And so that is where a lot of that money has gone. And there is other money in there that is honestly, it's still there. If the money that we put aside for the new fire station is still there. And so that's still contained within the fund balance. And these are projects that we want to continue to work towards. It's just we're going to have to rethink on how we get the revenues to do some of these projects. And that way we don't have an impact to the citizens and the taxpayers when it comes to those very high ticket items, for example, in my original draft, I had field lights in there, but I've come to find out that now lights to change the LED lights out of the ball fields could be anywhere between $250,000 and $500,000. And that's a very tough number to budget for.
I guess I'm kind of wondering you know, what do we really need to approve this because it's all subject to change every year, or is this just kind of more of a hey, this is what we're looking at doing type of thing? If that makes sense.
It does. And the reason that I would like this to be approved is because this does, I do believe that this is a good plan that we have going forward. And then what this really does is this allows us to spend that money out of the capital improvement fund that we do have available to do some of these projects. And so when this plan is approved, it just allows it, like I said, we've already approved the housing engineering, we've already approved some of it, you know, it was a tractor for Parks and Rec for this year. And so this just allows us to move forward with some of the projects that we know are on the horizon. That, you know, these are things that we really want to start putting money back for. We know that we're going to need certain trucks. We know that parts, like for example, we know that we need to replace a Ford F-250. You know, it's a 2011. That was originally for the sewer department. We have another truck that needs to be replaced. We're trying to get into fleet management and things like this. And it just allows those programs to move forward using capital improvement funds.
It's kind of nice to have a framework. Like I said, it doesn't leave us locked in, but at least aims us to where we're going. So, absolutely.
I'll make a motion to approve the revised 2025 and 2029 capital improvement plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the revised capital improvement plan. Any further discussion? Not, Dawn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to item 4, resolution 2025-14 KHITC grant. Oh,
Let me make a clarification on that. The CIP plan was that approving. Never mind, it wasn't done.
It's not done, the resolution,
Okay,
no.
never mind.
Yep.
Okay. Clarification, you said help me out.
that's good because I wasn't there with you, so. As long as you got it, we're good. All right, so then moving on to the resolution 2025-14. Brad?
And so when the MIH application was submitted to the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation, some of the feedback that they gave us from that is that we needed a separate resolution for the Kansas housing income tax credits that are also being applied for. And so that is what this resolution is for. It is just for those tax credits is to complete that MIH application. I have been in contact with Michael Webb. He's the one that informed me of this, and so we put this on the agenda for tonight to be approved so we can move forward with that application.
I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-14 for the KHITC grant portion of the MIH application.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2025-14. Any further discussion? Not, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Okay, moving into communications. Brad, do you want to start with the Halloween?
I do, and so we've been in discussion here at City Hall about, you know, and I think that anybody who's been to City Hall can see some of the decorations that are downstairs. You know, staff is really doing a good job this year, making sure that we uphold our traditions here in Hiawatha for Halloween. We're been in talks about doing a city float this year. You know, something that we've done in the past, something that we haven't done for a long time. You know, it's something that I think we want to move forward with. Part of this is we also want to move forward with being able to participate in the afternoon parade as well. And so what I'm asking tonight is for permission to close City Hall at noon on October 31st, so we can participate in the activities for Halloween.
I think that sounds like a great idea. I mean, if we're, like I said, Halloween, we are town to have our city employees be able to participate in that. I think that sounds like a great idea. I don't know what the rest of you think, and it's not like people can't pay their bills, they still can, the slots there, and most people don't come in on City Hall that day anyway, I would imagine, you can't get through to even get to it.
Yeah, and I'll clarify a little bit, also with the float, we plan to do the business trick or treat as well.
Yes.
So there will be staff handling that
Mhm.
portion, as well as the business trick or treat at the Fisher Center.
Yes, that's a good point. We'll still be working, we'll just be.
Not working.
Stuff.
We'll still be here, we just won't, they'll be in City Hall, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
I'm okay with it.
Absolutely, agree.
Okay,
Do you need a motion for that or just
yes,
consensus?
please, yes.
I'd like to make a motion that the City Hall be closed at noon on October 31st.
Second.
Been moving second to close City Hall on October 31st at noon. Any further discussion? Not Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Any ideas on the float yet? I mean, don't spoil it or anything. but Do we have ideas?
We've had some pretty good ideas. I'm gonna have some pretty good participation as well from, people seem to be pretty excited about it. I don't want to disclose everything.
Yeah, we don't.
It should be pretty fun.
I think go home with your feet.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's.
We'll go with that. Can't wait to see it.
Right.
I meant to call in. There is a possibility that there'll be a football game the same night as the parade. Is there any plan if that happens?
Not that I'm aware of. I know the chamber has any contingency plans on that. I haven't personally heard anything about that yet. I know that this has been a pretty hot topic of conversation among even the town and even in the staff meeting this morning. I really don't know too much about it. I don't know what the contingency plans there are, but once I do find out, we will be sure to get that information out.
I can't imagine having a football game. Just,
Yeah.
oh well. Okay, moving on to Ruth and Charitable Trust letter.
Yeah, so this is something that the Ruth and Roger Wolf Charitable Trust, every year they send out a letter. There's always money available for various projects here in Brown and Donovan counties. I know Don was talking about, I think Stacy in the past has applied for some funds from the Ruth and Roger Wolf Charitable Trust. I know some projects on the courthouse that have been accomplished this way as well. And so this is just a letter to let the public know that this money is available and for any ideas that they might have to, serve the public. And so it's just kind of information, getting it out there that there are funds available for it.
I think that was in the paper a couple weeks ago
Yes.
too. Yeah.
I know they've been very generous with teachers in school requests and everything. So,
She's my fourth grade teacher.
oh, she was.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, moving on to executive session. How long?
No executive session. We did.
Oops, I'm sorry. I've got both of them up. Wrong one. Okay, never mind. Anything else then under judge's report, firearms or the chamber?
The chamber thank you is just to the city, and it's really thanking us for the help that we gave them throughout the Maple Leaf Festival and many departments and commission. They always appreciate it every year, and so I thought that was very nice.
All right, moving on to governing body comments. Couple things I have. I mean, just because you mentioned Maple Leaf, I thought it was really neat. I had a bunch of my sixth graders comment on how much fun that it was and that they were down there and all the bouncy things but how exciting to have the young people coming down there to enjoy it. So it's just a lot of work and I appreciate what goes into getting that done. And then also I wanted to give a little shout out to Katie Miller as well. She worked really hard to get the Kansas Art Educators Conference here this weekend. She said it brought in 163 total visitors. said all over social media, you have pictures of Hiawatha and saying what a beautiful town it was. I mean, it's such, to be able to see the town through other people's eyes, through our educators across the state, I think is, I don't know, just kind of makes you want to remind you that we should appreciate what we have here and that we can build on it. We can make it better. So, but anyway, I want to just comment on all of that. Moving on, Dave, do you have anything?
I'd like to thank Don and Brad and the city staff for all the work they put in to get the good, audit report that we got from Barney. I know that you spent hours and hours pondering many figures to try to get everything straightened out for them, and looked like they tweaked a few little things there, but it looked like a very good report. So I want to thank you all for all your efforts. That's a big job.
Definitely a big job. Yeah. Tom?
Yes, I would like to know, is there a city ordinance for cars that are broke down in the street and still tagged?
Yeah, I believe there is. Yes, I believe that within the city ordinance that it does contain that the cars have to move. There's a set period of time that they have to be movable. It's not enough just to have them tagged and insured.
Like, is moving less than years?
Less than years, yes.
Oh, okay.
That is correct. It's within months. I believe it's 30 days, I believe is what
Okay,
I don't quote me on that, but I believe that sticks in my head.
Is that just if they're on the street or if they're sitting on their own driveway?
I believe that's just at the street. If it's in the driveway, I believe that as long as it's tagged and insured, it's okay, as long as it's not up on blocks necessarily, but if it's in the street, it has to be movable.
well, I had talked to you about a specific car and it hasn't been moved in years.
Right.
I walked by a couple that showed no signs of ever being moved.
Right. And we can't get the street sweeper around it if we sweep, but it just kind of makes a mess out of things in one spot.
Mhm.
And I think we just need to deal with it.
I would agree.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know, the citywide cleanup, I believe is the 18th. I will be home and I'll have a truck available if anybody needs anything picked up. They could call City Hall or contact me directly, and I'll see that somebody will get over there, or I will, and get some things picked up, to make good use of that day. And, I would also ask, do we have any updates for, the last, I think we have, 2 more houses to be removed in town. With winter approaching, we're gonna have to get a jump on these if it's gonna happen this year.
Yeah, so I know on the lease at 310 Hiawatha, the big hangup on that one is we did get the asbestos report back, which the siding does contain asbestos. At this point, the entire house is assumed to contain asbestos. And so Dominic Greer has done a good job running down a landfill that will take that material. We know where to take that material to now, which is right down north of Topeka. I believe it's Rolling Meadows, is that correct? And so that is the landfill, that's the closest landfill that we can haul that to. And so really, and it did take us some time to kind of track all that down. It's definitely been a process. The other house that we're going to take down, that is that's more of a shed. I don't think that we're going to have the same types of issues there. I think that in order to move forward for this, I know I've been in discussion with various people about this. You know, in order to move forward, I think that it may well, and I can leave the update there and let you kind of finish your thoughts before I expand, but that's where we're at.
I'd like to, if we could, just put it out for bid to remove the house on 4th Street. The owner is agreeing that it's time for it to come down, and so I would like to get that done as soon as we can.
Yeah, I think that is a reasonable path forward on that house. I think that is something that we could do. I know that this is something that I can talk to contractors that do this. We could put it out to bid. I think that can be a pretty fast process.
Okay, so can we go ahead and put it out for bid then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I don't need a motion on that.
What?
I don't need a motion on that.
Okay.
I can do that.
All right, anything else, Brian?
You said you don't need a motion, I'm sorry?
I don't think we need a motion on that. I think I can put that out to bid, and when those bids come in, as long as if they're under $10,000, we can go with a little bit. I can approve that. If it's over $10,000, we'll bring that back to the commission at that point.
Okay, yeah, I would just, with the holidays and everything coming up, snow's gonna be flying, so I just wanna make sure we get it out as soon as we can.
Okay.
So
I have a question about that. Is this something we have to have like the fire department involved with to keep it watered down, to keep the asbestos from?
And so that is part of the remediation process. That is something that would have to happen. We would have to wet that material down as it's being torn down to keep that dust under control. Make sure that it's wet, tarped, and then hauled to the sites. And once we put that out there, as part of the bid packet, we'll just put out that, the city of Hiawatha will help with that as far as that part of it goes. But yes, that is a part of it.
Okay, I was just curious.
Okay, Laura?
I just had one question. How are we coming along on updating the city ordinances that are posted online on the website?
We were discussing that today, and Don and I were discussing that today. I know that there's really two parts to this. I know that we need to go through our city code itself and actually type everything out and recodify what we have, because the city ordinances that are online are not correct with the current ordinances that we have. And so it's been a lot of training involved on how to do that. And so how Don and I have discussed this on how we're going to approach it. I'm going to be the one spending the time actually updating the ones on the website. Don's going to be typing them out for the recodification process. Updating it on the website really shouldn't be that difficult. It should, that part of it will go quicker than the recodification process. But that's how we are going to work that.
So is there any reason that we have to have the city ordinances on our website, especially if they're not correct? I mean, is there any reason we can't just
Take
shut
it
it
down.
down? Just as I was kind of scrolling social media today, right before a meeting, someone posted about the pit bulls and Rottweilers that we have now banned those again, which is not true, but she screenshotted it from our city ordinance. And if it's online, it should be accurate.
That's correct. I'll let Don
Are we
speak.
required by law to have it, Dawn, or?
Well, what's out there is not necessarily incorrect. However, some of them have been amended. And you have to go back through all the ordinances to get those amendments to correct them. And that is part of the recodification that we are going to start working on. Getting through the budget, the audit and all that, but Brad talked about it in depth today. He said, remove them. I said, it'd be easier if we just edited them. So if you want them removed, I guess we could. It's just, but I suggested we put a banner out on the front page of the website that we are in the process of recodification and that.
I think that is a very good idea. It needs, yeah, especially if it's going to be easier for you to leave it and edit rather than just removing the whole thing. But
If they want the most up to date, all they have to do is call us. We'll get them a copy of.
and
Something that's been amended.
that said, this is in the process of being revamped, et cetera, et cetera. So the community is well aware of exactly what the city ordinances are.
Yes.
So I know I can't even imagine trying to go through and get that with all the amendments and this sort of thing, but
I think, like I said, I actually think that my process could be easier, but this is going to be a good process for us all to go through again. I know this has been a number of years. I think the last time we recodified the code was 2007, I believe.
Yes.
And so it's been many, many years overdue. This is something that we should be doing on a regular basis. You know, as we make changes to ordinances, we should be doing this as we go. And the good thing is, I think that now that we realize what the problem is, how to move forward, I think that the process should go. It may take a little bit to get there. I mean, I expect this to be a months-long process in order for us to get there to where we need it to be. Recodification process as well. But this is something going forward into the future that I feel like now we will be able to keep on top of it. And so, like I said, this is something that can be fixed and will be fixed.
It's going to be a huge project.
Yes.
My question is, with everything you already have going on and everything she already has going on, how are you going to manage to fit that in? I mean, have you looked at maybe hiring somebody that's what they do,
So
notification and
So the recodification, and that is true, the recodification, if we hire somebody to come do it, is very expensive to have like an outside company come in and help us with that. We've talked to the city attorney at length about this as well, on what does it really take for us to do this? And really what it takes is an attention to detail. And so this is something that Dawn has felt like she can really help on. I know as far as the website goes, I want to make sure that on the administrative side that I'm kind of on top of that as well. That way I know what's going on. I don't want there to be a disconnect because sometimes it can feel that way, especially with code. It can feel like there's a disconnect between administration and what's actually going on with the code. And I want to fix that. And so I would like to take that project on either myself. That way, there's been a lot of time that I've spent over the past year and a half, I would say, learning about a lot of different aspects of what this job is as a city administrator. And I still have a lot left to learn about this. And really the part that I have left to learn is exactly what I'm going to be working on. And so that is, it's a work in progress. I know for myself, it's been a work in progress. You know, I've been a work in progress, but the website's a work in progress, but we are working towards getting it done.
I can certainly appreciate all your efforts. It's going to take months upon months to try to do the research and get that up and I'm proud of you for stepping up to that. I just don't want it to be too much. So
would it be easier to, I guess, first of all, do we have like a paper copy of everything that we currently have now?
We do. We have what we call a master copy here at City Hall. We actually have a couple of them that we keep updated through what we have now, what's been amended, noting in our city code what's been amended, and also in the zoning code as well. We've done amendments there too. And really the plan is to make sure that we have both the Hiawatha City Code and the planning and zoning code. I know getting into code enforcement, for example, you know, that comes up quite often. You know, what people like to be able to do, especially outside contractors, developers even, they like to be able to get on our city website and understand what they're getting into before they even ever make the first phone call to ask me a question. And normally what I found out is their first question is, what are your planning and zoning ordinances, or what is your city code say?
Priority.
That's their first priority. And so this really does, you know, this is going to be good for the public, so they know. So let's say a homeowner wants to, you know, put up a fence. Well, they want to know what the, you know, what are the regulations for putting up a fence in the city of Hiawatha. They'll be able to get on and actually access that right online. And just, it can be at their fingertips. It can help with everybody. It can help save time with the homeowner, with code enforcement. It'll be a really good thing when it's done. It'll be a positive step for the city, I feel.
Good.
I guess my thought is, you guys, you know well enough, if you do have time, and as you get into it, if you realize this more than you thought, then I trust that you'll come back to us and say, we need to do something different, but
Yeah.
if you're saying the two of you got it, I say, go for it.
For me, I mean, we didn't have code, and so I don't know it. But going through the whole process, I will educate myself more on the code, so when people do call, it doesn't take me longer to look it up.
So is it possible to, I mean, if we have a master copy, are we able to just delete everything and then add that to the website and I mean, it might not have hyperlinks and stuff like that, but you can at least follow the directions and go to the next, scroll through. Is that possible? And if not, maybe it would be easier to even have a work session and adopt like a whole new code that's already done. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm just trying to.
Let me explain to you what we have. Currently, Brian, we have the 2007 code that was done, and each time an ordinance was done, it is put, so say in administration, they have put it with it, and they have marked in the code where it has been amended, what the ordinance number was, etc. Which was being updated till right before I came on. And so those ordinances haven't, since July of 2023, haven't been put in that book. But the plan is to go back through all of those ordinances, change the wording in the original 2007 to match the ordinances to where they were amended. So we will have a completely updated book.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just,
Okay.
I'm just thinking out loud of maybe.
I think you're looking for a way to kind of simplify the process for us.
Right.
And so, yeah, those are definitely ideas that we're going to look at. We do definitely want to make this as simple as we can for ourselves and as efficient as we can for ourselves as well. It is going to be a big project, but I believe that's what your question was about. And I do appreciate those types of thoughts and any kind of thoughts that anybody has, if they can think of any ways that, think outside the box on this one, how we can make this more efficient or better for ourselves. I mean, I'm always open to suggestions.
There's probably, every town has a code book that's probably very well put together. I mean, you can just almost copy and paste it, and then we could have a work session and change anything we want and then approve the whole thing. I'm just, if it's going to take months is all I'm saying. We might need to just take a step like that. And if it's going to take months for you guys working on it, maybe it'd be easier for us to just print out a book, have everybody read it over for, a week, and then have a work session and talk about if things need tweaked or something. But again, I'm just thinking out loud more than anything right now.
All of our city codes are totally different than city codes in other areas, so that'd be almost impossible to try to do. I mean, you're gonna have to go through each amendment that has occurred over time. I mean, it's not like the law enforcement standard traffic ordinances and that kind of thing that apply to all the cities. It's the codes and ordinances that just apply to us.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, but
Just talking.
yeah, there's several ways of doing it. I'm just saying if it's going to take months on end, then maybe it'd be easier to just start over.
Say that there is going to be specific things that come up, especially, the conference that I was just at, for example, talking about code for, I think that, there are going to be codes that we need to look at as far as, and so I do plan to actually make that part of a upcoming workshop here. I really want to discuss some planning, the types of problems that we face for the city of Hiawatha are common in Kansas. This is one of the main takeaways that I had from the conference I was just at. We have a lot of the same problems in a lot of the same small towns like Hiawatha. But we also have a lot of good resources and ideas to move forward. And so and part of that will be updating some of our, especially in our zoning ordinances. And so that will be something that will be necessary to do, have those workshops, discuss that, see what's best for Hiawatha, I guess is a good way to put it. And so we will be having, I'm hoping to have workshops coming up here within the next 2 commission meetings, maybe at the next one, maybe at that first one in November, but I'd really like to have a work session, really start going over these things.
Okay, good.
I also have one more thing. The high school Stuco is also looking for, oh my gosh, I just lost it.
Service
For
projects.
jobs. Yeah, it's for jobs for, community service. If anybody has anything, if the city has anything, I know that we've had comments about weeds, around City Hall and downtown. I definitely think they're needing jobs. There's several things that we could do, even if it's, picking up trash and as far as that goes, also any residents that have anything, they can call and get on the list and the kids will come and do community service for anybody in town. And I did put something on Facebook, but I have not received anything. So if anybody knows anything, let's see if we can get them to work.
I have one more thing. Is there anything we can do to add speakers? I can't hardly hear him at all.
I do believe that that's going to be that would be easy to add.
Can you guys hear out there?
No, never have been able to.
At least it works now on video though. Our video audio is much
Most
better.
Everybody doesn't speak into their microphones, so it makes somebody like me that can't hear well a very difficult time to hear.
Okay. That could be part of
I
our.
can hear what he says, but I really have to struggle to listen to what he says.
Okay. And that can be, I think those are easy things to fix.
Plant everywhere. So
Yes.
I would definitely appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, is there a
We
motion
also
to?
talked about the TV and stuff, so if there's a
Yeah.
TV back there, it would also have a speaker in it that would have the sound coming out like right behind the commission too. So I think that would help tremendously.
Yeah, go ahead and give them an update real quick on that.
Brian, I bought the new TV for the back of the room. I bought a 75-inch last week. Jane's getting me ordered a movable stand for it. We'll take the current TV and put it right in front of the podium for you guys to be able to see what is on there when stuff is being
Okay.
broadcasted up there. So hopefully that will help aid in all of this.
Good.
Yeah, if it's in front of the podium, just as long as the public can see.
Yeah, we'll have a 75-inch on the wall, and the current one that's on the wall will be in front of the podium.
Well, I'm just saying when we have budget time and everything, it's hard for everybody that sits in the chairs. They have to turn around and look at the big screen TV. So that's
There's
just
no
one
TV
thing.
on wheels.
And they're gonna be on AV cards instead of actually hanging on the wall.
Okay.
I move we adjourn.
Second, we just stand to adjourn. Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passed 5-0.